Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a guest here with us. We have Jenay. She is the back-to-back Women's Elite National Champion for the Tactical Games. She's also a CrossFit coach, and before all that, she also played D1 ice hockey at Michigan State. So elite athletics has been in her DNA for quite some time, and today she's going to talk about her kit and some other things. And basically from here on out, we're going to hand it off to Jenay and let her talk about some cool stuff.
Cool, thanks Brandon. So here to talk about my setup for the Tactical Games. I want to start off with the fact that I am not an expert in any of these things, but I'm going to show what works for me and how I've upgraded over the past few years that I've been competing. So starting off with my rifle, I have a 14.5 stainless steel JP barrel with a 3-prong flash hider, which is pretty neutral on the recoil. I have an adjustable gas block and a carbine buffer system, which allows me to tune the gas for a softer recoil. My upper is Ballistic Advantage. My lower is 2A Armament. I think they're Nemo arms now, but 2A Armament from back in the day. I have a bad lever, which helps with speed and efficiency on the clearing procedure that we see in Tactical Games, along with reloads as well. I have a Calvin Elite Timney 1-stage trigger. I have shot a 2-stage trigger in the past and that worked great. 1 stage was a move that I made as I got more experience in shooting to try to just find some 1% that I can improve on in the sport. I have a mil-spec safety and charging handle. It's really low profile and sometimes we have to run with our rifles. In a faster shooting stage, we might have to sling our rifle, draw a pistol. So the low profile of this for me has helped not catch on my plate carrier when I'm trying to do those faster weapons manipulations. Overall, pretty minimalistic for the setup here. I don't have anything on the handguard outside of my QD mount. I like it slick because we work on barricades a lot and I just haven't found much need for anything else on it. Having it pretty slick allows me to get in and out of ports a lot faster, so I've liked that. The optic that I have is an ATACR 1-8, Night Force ATACR 1-8. I do have it on a Vortex mount because I used to shoot a Vortex 1-10 Razor. Really liked this optic, but overall I chose to swap it out for the Night Force because the BDC reticle on the Vortex was just a little bit limiting at longer range. So shooting out is like 550 plus. I was losing wind dots on it. And then also I would have to dial if I was shooting any further than 550. So in order to save time, upgraded to the Night Force. The reticle on it is really robust. So I never have to dial during a long range stage if I don't want to. I can just use the deeper reticle, and it has a lot more wind dots on it as well. Out in Texas where I normally shoot, there's quite a bit of wind, so I find myself needing those a little bit more often. I also think the glass quality is a little bit better on the Night Force, so although I'm sacrificing the 10 power of the Vortex, seeing the same things on an 8 has been totally sufficient, and I've definitely liked that. I've also tried the NX8 from Night Force as well, and it just has a little bit smaller of an eye box, whereas the Vortex 1-10 had a really big eye box for me. So transitioning from this to a really tight eye box on the NX8 was really difficult. So the ATACR was a good middle ground for me, where I had the reticle that I wanted and the performance aspects that I wanted shooting wise, but I still had a little bit wider of an eye box. So I've really enjoyed this swap. Also, I've got the T.rex arm sling. Love that this is pretty minimalistic. But I used to have a Magpul sling, and it was a little bit wider, and the little plastic pieces were a little bit thicker, and I found that it was getting in my way a little bit more often. So I swapped out to the T.rex arm sling. I like that it's really easy to adjust on the fly. That's helpful for me when we're shooting fast and maybe need to sling the rifle and get it nice and tight so I can go off and run or something like that. So that's served me well. I think that's it for the rifle there. Next up, my pistol that I shoot in Tactical Games is a Staccato XC. I did shoot a staccato P in the past as well and love them both. I had the opportunity to shoot an XC, and given the comp on the end, it does help control the recoil a little bit more. It shoots nice and soft, and it was just easier for me to shoot all around. So it's a pleasure to upgrade to the staccato XC. I run a Trigicon SRO on that, really wide frame on that. So for me, it's easy for competition shooting. I haven't found the need to house it in any sort of metal casing or anything to protect it in tactical games. The way that it runs in my holster, it is a little bit exposed, but I haven't had any issues quality-wise with that so far. So on the Staccato XC, the only thing that I changed from the basic what you would get from Staccato is I needed to shorten the trigger. So I have a smaller hand being a female, and in order to establish the proper grip, I didn't have the length of finger to reach the trigger. So I had a gunsmith swap out a gunsmith blank for my trigger and shave it down all the way so it's nice and short. So this is kind of a one of one for me, but Staccato does now sell a shorter trigger as well option that you can just have placed in when you buy it, which is pretty cool. So, and then I have an attachment for my holster here. This is for the Blackhawk Omnivore, so transition over to my belt setup. My holster that I use, Blackhawk Omnivore, I've had pretty much since I started tactical games, and what I've loved about it is that it's adapted to my growth in the sport, where I've been able to use different pistols and still have the same holster, which is really helpful because patterning your mechanics for a new holster is something that you'll have to do if you switch it out, and takes a great deal of time. So I've had the same holster pretty much the whole time I competed in tactical games. So the mechanics have been the same with the draw, which I really like. It's got a thumb release there. We are required in tactical games to use level 2 retention holsters. So if I have to disengage something to pull the pistol out, I do like the thumb release, because when I'm drawing, I'm already in a great position to grip the gun as I come up, given that I've disengaged the thumb release on the draw. So given that it attaches via this little adapter here, I've been able to switch from starting out with a Glock 34, and then I moved to the P, and then I moved to the XC. And for all of them, I can just drop one of these on there and then easily swap out, even day to day if I wanted to. If I wanted to go back and train with my Glock, it's still the same holster, which is really convenient, so I never have to swap that out. The belt that I use is the T.rex Nova belt. It's the most simple belt that you can buy. It is not an inner outer, it's just one contiguous belt. I love it though. The simplicity in it has worked really well for me in unique ways. Starting out, I didn't know what I would like, and if I'm being honest, this was just the cheapest option to get me in the door, and I ended up really liking a lot of things about it, so I stuck with it. Things that I love about it are I can move the mag pouches as I need to out of the way, so that say I'm doing a stage that has a lot of sandbag over something or hinging at the hip. Given that I don't have a ton of space on my hips, I can slide my mag pouches out of the way and create more space in front, so that when I'm hinging with the bag, I don't have my mags in the way of my hip crease. Or even sometimes with the plate carrier plus the mags, you might get like some belly pinching in there. So luckily this allows me to move it out of the way, and is very specific to my sport for sure. And then when we go in a faster shooting stage, I can slide all these back to the front, and they're a lot more accessible, fast, efficient. Mag pouches, I've got just basic 511 mag pouches. I usually run 4 pistol on my belt and maybe 1 or 2 rifle, and then I'll hold the other rifle magazines that we need on my plate carrier. But having the ability to run 4 is most applicable to tactical games here. I will change out my belt configuration though, sometimes stage to stage, or if in training I don't need this much, maybe I'm working more with the rifle and I want to draw from my, or pull magazines from my belt, I might take one of these pistol magazines out and then slide this forward. So the versatility to change my belt configuration based on the day, the event in tactical games is something that I love about this belt. They do slide but when I tighten my belt down on me, I find that they very much stay in place. The only con of this belt is when I'm doing high volume burpees, it definitely can move around a little bit. I've mitigated that by, if I want to wear belt loops on my leggings or pants, then I can put just the front pieces right here through the front belt loops, and that's enough to keep it in place. But for the most part, another thing that drew me to this belt was that I could wear fitness equipment with it, or fitness clothing with it rather. And that was what I was most comfortable with coming in. I think a lot of us coming from the fitness space into tactical games, maybe we're really comfortable in fitness apparel, but the whole tactical world of like, you know, tactical pants and wearing belt loops out while you're doing fitness, it definitely wasn't something I was interested in at first. So I loved that this got me in clothing that I was comfortable with. Like I could still wear my fitness attire and not have to worry about the Velcro of an inner outer belt damaging my clothing at all. So for me, this was a great bridge that ended up just working for me, and I kept it. I do have a little bit of goat tape on here to thicken this part so that if I want to keep my magazines back or keep them forward, it just helps it stay in place, but it can still slide over that little hump as well. Ear Pro that I use in competition, I have Decibels. They're highest grade ones. They're black and orange. These are great inners that stay out of the way while I'm doing fitness. When I'm training, I'll wear inners and outers most often. I've definitely had some ear damage in my short amount of time shooting, and quickly learned the importance of having very solid Ear Pro. I didn't respect that in the beginning, and I wish I did, so I wasn't paying the consequences now, but this combo has been great for training and then competing, just these, so that I can move bags and move freely and not have to worry about these being in the way. Glasses, I do Magpuls, pair of clears, and pair of sunglasses. Has been great for me. That's all I need for competition. And then lastly, but not least, I have my plate carrier. I love the T.rex AC1. It's super sleek. Coming from fitness, my first carrier was a Rogue vest, and I had in steel plates. Quickly noticed that that wasn't gonna work, given that we're moving our bodies over a bar. Doing burpees, it would come up and hit me in the face, give me some good knocks on the chin. So I quickly switched over to jacked rabbit plates, which are soft sand-filled plates. They're really flexible and move with the plate carrier, so that is really, really efficient and useful in tactical games. The AC1 is very sleek profile-wise, so when I'm wearing it with the jacked rabbit plates, really doesn't get in my way at all. It's pretty seamless and feels very comfortable. I do really enjoy using the rifle placard on this, so you can put 3 rifle magazines in the front, and when I expend them in the stages, then my vest becomes more sleek. So really love that. I also use the pistol pouches on the side sometimes too, if we have a high magazine count on our total amount of magazines for the stage. I might use the side one either to get it out of my way if it's bothering me in my hip crease, or if I just have more than I can hold on my belt at the time. So love the low profile of that. Even my friends that are new to shooting or maybe just do fitness, I'll recommend them this plate carrier because it's so versatile and easy to use as an athlete. So all around, love this vest. I've had mine since day one of tactical games pretty much, and have still been rocking it ever since. So yeah, big fan of that.
All right, well, that was awesome, Jenay. I really do appreciate it. One thing that Jenay did not emphasize is her dominance in the sport. So her perspective on equipment is a little unique, but also very valuable when it comes down to equipment for training, specifically for the tactical game. So again, we do greatly appreciate your time. If you guys have any questions about her kit, any questions for Jenay in general, just go ahead and shoot us an email at team@t.rex.arms.com, and we'll be happy to get those questions over to her. But until next time, guys, this is Brandon from T.rex, and thanks again, Jenay, for coming out.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.